Good morning. Please stand for the playing of the national anthem of Barbados. You may be seated. Good morning. Good morning to the Minister of Industry, Innovation, Science and Technology, Davison Ishmael, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Industry, Innovation, Science and Technology, Mr. Wayne Marshall, High Commissioner of Barbados to Kenya, Mr. Alexander MacDonald, Prime Minister, Special Envoy to Suriname and Guyana, Ms. Althea Wiggins, Commercial and Cultural Attaché to Ghana and West Africa, Mr. Phil Phillips, members of the Regional and International Diplomatic Corps, President of the Barbados Manufacturers Association, Mr. John Marshall, Executive Director of the Barbados Manufacturers Association, Ms. Sharday Boyce, members of the Board of Management of Barbados Manufacturers Association, specially invited guests, and media. We welcome those also viewing and joining us online and via Zoom. My name is Kashi Brown, and I welcome you to the launch of the Barbados Manufacturers Association Trade and Innovation Summit. We invite the President of the Barbados Manufacturers Association, Mr. John Marshall, to deliver his opening remarks.
Morning. My name is John Marshall. I've had the honor of being the president of the BMA now for almost a year, and it's been quite an experience. Protocols being already established. Thank you. I want to welcome you to the launch of the Trade and Innovation Summit for the BMA, and today we'll be discussing more on what that means and be able to answer questions for the media so they understand what to expect out of the BMA and the Manufacturers Association for the remainder of this year. At the beginning of this year, the Board of Management of the Barbados Manufacturers Association agreed that the work program of the BMA should focus on encouraging the manufacturing of excellent products, promoting the use of excellent marketing strategies, and supporting excellent business practices. Traditionally, Barbados has had a strong industrial heritage exemplified through some of the brands that have done well in the local market and export markets, such as Beijing Pride Flour, Harris Paints, who's been fortunately been my employer for the last decade or so, Beep and Bop Insecticides, Bisco, Montgay Rum, the oldest rum in the world, I believe, Clayton's Cola Tonic, and many others. We've grown up with a lot of these brands. Our focus obviously is to expand the manufacturing sector and the industrial sector for Barbados. our future depends on how much we innovate and are able to trade locally and regionally. And we need to make sure that our manufacturers are prepared for the future that's coming at them. And the best way to prepare for that is actually to create it ourselves. Today, innovation is permeating all facets of our life, and manufacturing is one of the most vivid examples of the inevitable power of innovation and industrial solution to the world's biggest problems. Therefore, we must continue on the trajectory of innovation, encouraging all manufacturers to remain relevant in a rapidly changing world. Adding value to what we are already doing in a unique and unprecedented way is critical. In addition, keeping abreast with changing demands of our consumers is essential. It is with this understanding that the BMA places all of its efforts on driving excellence through development and innovation, global outreach and trade, reigniting the brands of Barbados, education and training. The Trade and Innovation Summit was birthed as a mechanism to help the industry expand its reach and enhance its product offerings by bringing suppliers of equipment, distributors in external markets, policymakers and funding institutions in one place, making them accessible to businesses. Building linkages and international manufacturing can only redound in the benefit of our economy and our nation's progress towards advanced manufacturing capabilities and availability. Key point here as well too is sustainability. We know certainly from the last 2 years that manufacturing has done well for Barbados to make sure that we can keep the products and services on the shelves and available to consumers, and an expanded manufacturing sector in a continually challenging world will only be the benefit for the island, and we need to make sure that we're in step with the public sector and other sectors with that goal. The Trade and Innovation Summit is engineered in a way that gives manufacturers the opportunity to shape the summit and its accompanying exhibition to allow it to be meaningfully rather than a talk shop or mere exhibition. The summit activities will occur between July and October. October will be the climax, with the actual summit and exhibition taking place on October 20th to 23rd. We will share more as the day progresses on those details. Manufacturing is an industry upon which the economic success of many nations are built. Today, technology and innovation drives growth within the sector internationally and keep the industry current. Modern manufacturing is changing the global economic landscape and changing the direction of our future. When a nation progresses towards more advanced manufacturing capabilities, it enables the production of more diverse and sophisticated products by using more advanced equipment and processing technologies, thus opening the door for growth of jobs and demand higher skills at higher wages. It is with this in mind that led us to carefully develop our summit. The BMA will use the summit to build clear relationships with our training institutions, as we understand that the availability and skills and a strong competency-based education system allows our people to control the future of our industry and by extension the success of our economy. As global manufacturing grows, so do the benefits for individuals, companies in Barbados. The BMA remains committed to partnering to create the best future we can. Thank you. One final note, when most of us do think about manufacturing, we tend to think about a grand global scale with lots of pipe and plumbing and stainless steel. On a very small economy, we need to think differently, right? And it needs to be in a way that is broad enough for a large sector of the working public to get the advantages of it. And through that, then we can actually begin to train and change our economy from purely consumers to producers. Right? And we really need everyone's help to make that our goal. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. John Marshall, the president of the Barbados Manufacturers Association. And as he said, throughout the morning, there'll be presentations and you get to know more about the summit as it draws nearer. Right now, we introduce our featured speaker of the morning, Minister of Industry, Innovation, Science, and Technology, Mr. Davison Ishmael.
Thank you very much, Master of Ceremonies. High Commissioner of Barbados to Kenya, Mr. Alexander MacDonald. Commercial and Cultural Attaché to Ghana and West Africa, Mr. Phil Phillips. Prime Minister's Special Envoy to Guyana and Suriname, Ms. Althea Wiggins. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Industry, Innovation, Science and Technology, Mr. Wayne Marshall. President of the Barbados Manufacturers Association, Mr. John Marshall. Executive Director of the Barbados Manufacturers Association, Ms. Sharday Boyce. Members of the Board of Management of the Barbados Manufacturers Association, members of the Regional and International Diplomatic Corps, specially invited guests, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, all good morning. Let's try that again. Good morning. Sounds like you have not had your coffee as yet. Well, good morning to you. Thank you. Thank you. Much better. Much better. I consider it a significant and a pleasure, of course, an honor to stand before you this morning, having been invited by the Barbados Manufacturers Association to deliver these featured remarks at the launch of the BMA's Trade and Innovation Summit 2022. Undeniably, the Trade and Innovation Summit is of particular interest and relevance to me, since the ministry that I have the honor and privilege to lead, the Ministry of Industry, Innovation, Science and Technology, has the responsibility for not only promoting, not only driving, but indeed for leading Barbados's industrial and technological revolutions. My government, through the inclusion of industry as the newest addition to the ministerial portfolio under my purview, has already signaled its recognition that trade and industry are inextricably linked, and they are aligned to innovation. Ultimately, this happy marriage of industry with innovation and technology within my ministry, and also as observed within the theme for this summit, recognizes the pivotal, synergistic, stimulating, and strategic role that innovation plays in producing lasting economic and social value. I wish to commend the leadership of the BMA, the organizers for this summit, for their fervor in championing the cause of our local manufacturing sector. For more than 50 years, the BMA, without being ostentatious, has promoted, improved, and advised on the regulation of the manufacturing industry of Barbados through outreach and sensitization programs, through lobbying and advocacy. In this way, the BMA has created a vibrant network of actual and potential manufacturers in Barbados and has made a stellar contribution to the state's economic and social development. The Trade and Innovation Summit of 2022 is a successor to BMETS, the BMA's premier manufacturing exposition. BMETS was conceptualized as an exposition to showcase the finest products made in Barbados, with its main objectives being, 1, to increase consumer awareness of the quality, variety, and availability of locally manufactured goods. 2, to keep local buyers updated as to what can be offered and hence what they should not have to import, in other words, import substitution. And also, thirdly, to encourage extra-regional business partnerships whereby overseas buyers were able to place orders with local manufacturers, thereby increasing our exports. The COVID-19 pandemic created unprecedented challenges, and it also presented tremendous opportunities, both of which required unique and innovative responses. As an organization, the BMA effectively and efficiently pivoted to be able to best capitalize on the opportunities presented by the pandemic. One way in which this was observed was through the execution of a virtual BMETS. This approach ensured that the BMA presented an exhibition fitting for the changing global dynamics while providing significant value to their partners and stakeholders. One major benefit generated by the migration of BMX to a virtual platform was the opportunity for increased value to industry stakeholders by opening the exhibition to significantly larger and more diverse audiences in different geographical locations and for a longer period of time. This Trade and Innovation Summit, therefore, comes at a time when the BMA has taken cognizance of the need to rebrand and pivot its exposition to remain relevant, all the while meeting the diverse needs of its constituents, its stakeholders, as well as domestic, regional, and international clientele. The theme for the summit, Our Global Village, highlights the need for the manufacturing sector to be on the cutting edge of innovation and technology. This theme dovetails very nicely with my ministry's strategy of creating pathways and channels to facilitate interconnectivity and to leverage opportunities for doing business. Such a theme supports the goal of increasing trade, expanding productivity, and creating a seamless network across borders. I wish to digress briefly to reflect on the history of manufacturing. During the era of our post-independence, the manufacturing sector, with the guidance and resilience of the BMA, and through the facilitating interventions of successive governments, have all made an indelible contribution to Barbados's economic landscape. In the early 1970s, for instance, the manufacturing sector in Barbados was the largest employer within the private sector. Until the late 1980s, ladies and gentlemen, the manufacturing sector was a dominant force, contributing significantly to economic output and the generation of valuable foreign exchange. During this period of the 80s, the manufacturing sector contributed around 12% to the GDP of our country. The sector's performance then enabled our economy to hold its own during difficult times and times of change. Admittedly, there has been a notable decline in the performance of the sector over the years. This decline has come as a result of several exogenous factors such as high production costs and increases in competition from regional and international markets, just to mention a few. And I want to put a plug here for Buy Local. I just want to put a plug here for Buy Local. Our nation is therefore confronted with daunting economic prospects, even in light of the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, which has triggered multifaceted shocks to our already fragile and vulnerable economy. Despite these challenges, ladies and gentlemen, the manufacturing sector has shown fortitude and resilience in weathering the storms. It continues to make a significant contribution to our national development and, of course, to our economic growth. My ministry is therefore resolute in its commitment to restore prominence to the manufacturing sector, which will in turn serve as a catalyst to regenerate macroeconomic stability. I am certain that doing this can and will put the economy on a sound footing for sustainable growth. We intend, my colleagues, to prove the naysayers wrong. We believe that there is a future for manufacturing and that opportunities exist for us to recreate and return the sector not only to its former glory, but with its 21st century glow, Mr. President. Correspondingly, my government is cognizant of the high degree of volatility in the domestic, regional, and international markets, as well as the issue of climate change and its impact on vulnerable small island developing states such as ours. If these are left unchecked, they have the potential to undermine and destabilize our sustainability and viability, and by extension, that of our productive sectors. Ladies and gentlemen, I am a firm believer that we are doomed to repeat the past if we fail to learn from the lessons it taught us. To this end, my government is pursuing landmark policies and strategies that are aimed at facilitating societal development, economic enfranchisement, and empowering the man and woman on the street to transform and enhance the performance of our manufacturing concerns. Having assumed office as the minister with responsibility for industry just 5 months ago, feels like 5 years sometimes, but just a short 5 months ago, I am therefore pleased to disclose my ministry's work through the Barbados Investment and Development Corporation in embarking on and executing several policy initiatives aimed at innovating, and transforming the sector, and improving the overall competitiveness and export readiness of Barbadian enterprises, all with a goal of achieving an export target of US $1 billion by 2030. One of these initiatives is a corporate reform and rebranding of the Barbados Investment and Development Corporation with a strategic focus on exports. My government is seeking to establish a strong export brand by building a national export culture. We will globally position Barbados's industrial brands in the international market to appeal not only to the diaspora, but to consumers across various cultures and borders. We must build global Barbadian household brands. And there is no doubt that we can do it. When I think of, we traveled to Rwanda, the PS and myself, and we led a contingent down just a week ago. And we saw them using pepper sauce. And it's not like Bajan pepper sauce. You know, you can go anywhere in the world. It's not like Bajan pepper sauce. It's not like Bajan rotis. It's not like Bajan whatever you think of. We have a unique flavor, and we have to be able to promote that wherever we go and make that international brand and make Barbadian companies international brands. We are also seeking to establish a subsidiary entity, an export bank, through a public-private partnership model. It is intended for this facility to provide a suite of export finance and insurance offerings, such as buyer finance, purchase order financing, project financing, an export guarantee program, and credit insurance. The overarching goal of this agency is to enable the growth of the export sector through creative export financing solutions, utilizing a model which is profitable and sustainable. Another initiative, which is innovative, is the enhancement of our bioeconomy. Bioindustries make use of biotechnology and other advanced life science methodologies in the creation or alteration of life forms or processes. It involves the production of renewable biological resources and the conversion of these resources and waste streams into value-added products such as food, feed, and other bio-based products. It is expected that the life sciences will add an additional $250 million in exports and create some 3,000 new high-quality jobs in our island. A renewable energy strategy has also been developed to empower Barbadians. Our clean technology capacity is well over 3 gigawatts. We understand from feasibility studies and technical analyses over the years that we need approximately 780 megawatts to 1.6 gigawatts approximately for us to reach 100% renewable energy electrification. Therefore, as you can see from those numbers, we have more than enough potential capacity to satisfy our own current and expected demands for the foreseeable future. Closely related is the establishment of a green energy park to produce green hydrogen for export. It is estimated that the hydrogen economy will be worth US $2.5 trillion by 2050. That's trillion with a T. Countries such as Japan and South Korea have already signaled their intention to import significant quantities of green hydrogen in the future as they decarbonize their own economies. This emerging demand offers a significant export opportunity to countries like Barbados and more specifically to stakeholders like many of you in the room today to be able to produce and export green hydrogen into those ready markets. Friends, it is also envisaged that an international food science center will be developed with 5 high-quality food science labs, all meeting the Hazard Analysis Critical Control Points (HACCP) and the Food and Agriculture Organization FAO certified production standards. Furthermore, my government will seek to establish a new geographic indicator (GI) framework which protects Barbados's intellectual property so that companies coming to Barbados for life sciences have a robust system that protects and enforces the IP rights of Barbados-based companies. Other initiatives include the creation of an international robotics center aimed at attracting investment from international robotics companies focused on exports. The establishment of eco-industrial parks as well, where we are going to upgrade and green all of our industrial estates to world-class standards and the installation of green energy parks geared towards the production of green energy, all for exports. It is anticipated that if the above-mentioned interventions are implemented in the medium to long term, they will invariably bolster the capacity and increase the output of the manufacturing sector. In addition, Barbados is sure to strengthen its overall trade performance, increasing its foreign exchange earning capacity, and of course, enhancing its brand image. As a government, we have witnessed the painstaking efforts by local manufacturers to pursue opportunities to innovate, expand, and invest in new and green technologies, all in an effort to enhance their competitiveness. And for this, I must applaud you. I have every confidence that these injections, when they do bear fruit, will also replicate economic gains at the national level. My fellow colleagues, in accordance with the summit's theme, we ought to recognize that our world is now reduced to a global village. Acknowledging that reality crystallizes that it can no longer be business as usual. In this village, or compound, or network, if you were, innovative thinking and non-conformance to convention must be the order of the day. And it will assist us tremendously in our success as a nation, a people, and a sector. And I want to repeat that. It bears repetition. This village, this compound that we're now in, innovative thinking and non-conformance to convention must be the order of the day. And it will assist us tremendously in our success as a nation, a people, and a sector. So the idea of thinking outside the box, we have now transferred that to remove the box altogether. There's no more box. So in other words, there's nothing that should confine us as manufacturers, as persons involved in trade, of thinking of the limitless possibilities. We should not limit ourselves. We should, in fact, remove all limits and think further afield and see where we can go and go beyond where we thought we may have been able to go. Equally important is the eradication of the silo mentality that plagues our public and our private institutions. We have witnessed that this archaic and narrow-minded approach is certainly not practical as we seek to navigate this fourth industrial revolution that we are already in. As we traverse and pivot in this period of disruption, it is vital to embrace the diversity in the traditions of doing business, in addition to the diverse new facets now being added to the very manner in which we live our daily lives. Information sharing, networking, diversifying, creating linkages, value-added services, all form a large component of global value chains. As we learn to embrace and master such realities, we will build relationships and synergies, all the while embracing technologically aided platforms, which will enable us to realize the possibilities for sustainability. Of course, it will also enable us to become more competitive, both domestically and internationally, where it literally pays to be disruptive. The time, ladies and gentlemen, has come for us to deviate from the tradition of brick and mortar, and we should, with full speed ahead, enter the digital space. Indeed, the ability to remain relevant and meaningful in the village extends beyond simply mechanizing and automating. And that used to be the thrust for most of us in manufacturing. We sought to mechanize and automate, and we thought that was the way for us to outcompete and for us to do better in our performance. But we have to go beyond that. In today's world, and by extension within the manufacturing sector, what is now required is the upending of traditional and calcified models. In other words, transforming the old ways of doing business. As a minister who holds responsibility for our nation's transformation to a digital economy, yes, I do wear many hats. I view this not as an option, but it is an absolute matter of necessity. Moreover, it is critical that we encourage deeper cross-fertilization amongst the players across all sectors if we are to realize the outcomes that are yearned for, even as we host this Barbados Manufacturers Association Trade and Innovation Summit for 2022, and of course, beyond. As I close, ladies and gentlemen, I wish to reassure you that taking the step to be an entrepreneur in and of itself says that you do have what it takes to seize opportunities and to go against the grain. What you now need to do is be more strategic and critical in your thinking and planning. Plan not just for what lies before you, but also for what you foresee and anticipate will be the new disruptions on the horizon. At the very core of entrepreneurship is being visionary. Let research be part of your strategy. Learn from those who have gone before you, but dare to be revolutionary. Dare to be the next great innovator. Think of and pursue the possibilities. This is our time. Let's innovate, solve the world's problems, grow our economy, and successfully ride this wave of the fourth industrial revolution. I wish us all a successful Trade and Innovation Summit. And once again, on behalf of my ministry and team, I want to thank the team of the BMA for inviting us to be a part of this launch. Thank you very much. Good morning.
Thank you, Minister. You said quite a bit. The cameras are rolling, the recorders are recording, so I'm sure that the executive of the BMA and the public will be eagerly awaiting all of those innovations and changes that you spoke of. Right now, I'd like to direct your attention to the screen. We have a short presentation facilitated by the Executive Director of the BMA, Ms. Charlotte Boyce, as we learn more about the Trade and Innovation Summit.
The Executive Director of the Barbados Manufacturers Association. My task today is to give you a brief overview of the objectives of the summit and outline the format it will be delivered. Our summit has a strong development approach. Its objectives are to promote innovation in the manufacturing sector by connecting manufacturers with global experts who will share insights on areas critical to the future of manufacturing, present smart and sustainable technologies capable of transforming local manufacturing processes, provide participants with networking opportunities with companies, distributors in current and potential export markets, showcase equipment which can assist manufacturers improve the capacity, efficiency of their businesses, and the quality of their products, provide opportunities to generate new customers for businesses through the showcase of products to the public, increase trade for local, regional, and international businesses, expand traditional manufacturing sectors through new market opportunities, find solutions to global issues through the manufacturing of innovative products, and transform local and regional manufacturing by acting on technology transfer frameworks embedded in various trade agreements signed by Barbados. The summit is the first of its kind regionally because of its strong focus on the development and expansion of manufacturing. It allows the building of strong global manufacturing networks that is key to facilitating global market activity defined by interconnected functions, operations, and transactions needed to bring products from prototyping to final delivery. The summit allows for the rethinking of supply chain management through exposing participants to alternative global partners for the sourcing of raw material. We are bringing players together in one place to facilitate opportunities for businesses which will make the difference to economic growth. The Trade and Innovation Summit also allows us to celebrate our traditional sectors as they have played an important role in the development of our economy while acting as a launching pad for other businesses. How will the summit be delivered? There are three main elements of the summit. The pre-summit activities commencing July 1st, 2022 and ending on October 10th. Delegate cultural exchange sessions, October 10th to the 19th. and the Summit Dialogue and Exhibition, which will run from October 21st to 23rd. Let's focus on the pre-summit activities. These sessions and activities will help us to meet our objectives of finding solutions to global challenges by refining the innovations and partnerships needed to resolve various matters ahead of the in-person summit in October, ensuring that solid deliverables will be achieved. Some of the challenges that manufacturing will seek to address here are food security, climate change, manufacturing to address health issues. There will be exploratory virtual sessions with regional and international partners, including B2B matching. We have already started dialogue with Canada, Kenya, and Ghana. Other global partners will be engaged as we go forward. This will ensure activities in October are targeted and productive. Development of new products will be pursued. This includes the Ration Pack initiative that features the BMA acting as a leader in innovation, driving our country's disaster response program through product-specific development. Barbados Manufacturers pop-up exhibition, Manufacturing Safe Sustainable Living, is one of the events within the calendar of the pre-summit activities of the Barbados Manufacturers Association Trade and Innovation Summit. The pop-up exhibition is centered around the sub-theme of manufacturing safe, sustainable living. The challenges Barbados faced in the last 2 years have emphasized the need to start our global outreach from a welcoming home base. Therefore, the event spearheaded by the BMA's construction group will highlight the role that the manufacturing sector plays in achieving resilient, safe, healthy homes and sustainable living spaces. As it pertains to the delegate cultural exchange sessions, this will assist us in meeting our networking opportunities. We know that persons do business with people that they can understand and appreciate culturally. Therefore, ensuring that our partners partake of our cultural product is critical to building relationships. Following this component, networking will continue at our premium events, which are the cultural production scheduled for October 20th at Sandals Royal, Barbados, and the fashion show scheduled for October 23rd at Sandals Royal. Dialogue is an important element of the summit, as this is where knowledge transfer occurs. We are partnering with some of the best industry leaders globally to bring you development-oriented sessions. The summit will bring together global experts to explore creative solutions to a number of global challenges that can be addressed through manufacturing. There will be an exhibition element to the summit, which will practically highlight and showcase innovative solutions in the representation of products and services that can assist local manufacturers while providing trade opportunities for our local, regional, and global partners. Since the first wave of the Industrial Revolution in 1760 to 1860, the world's productive power has been evolving gradually but radically. Being aware of the constant evolution of the sector, our founder's vision is for the BMA to be the change agent for achieving world-class excellence in Barbadian manufacturing. Therefore, it is critical that as a sector, we do not stagnate, but we innovate to meet the demands of a changing world. The exhibition component allows the showcase of what we have to offer to the world and what the world has to offer to us. Whether you participate as a delegate, exhibitor, sponsor, or patron, we have an exciting package for you, and we are sure that you will enjoy. After this session, we will be providing you with all the specific information you need to get the most out of the summit activities. Thank you.
And as she said, information will be coming your way, a lot more to come your way as we get closer to the summit. Now we'll pause for a 10-minute break. And that coffee that the minister spoke about a little earlier, if you need it, you can get that and other refreshments on the outside. Invite the head table to make the exit first. It's the option. And then afterwards, everyone can take that 10-minute break. When we come back, we'll have a question and answer segment. So if you have those questions, and I know you have questions, you can pose them to the panel. Thank you. Right. So you saw the presentations. We heard from the president, from the minister, and of course the presentation from Sade. And if you have any questions, if you want more information, the panel is there. You can ask them any questions. Any engagement? No. All right, one question over there. Oh, okay. Keith is coming to you with the microphone.
I think I can take this one, Kashi. Well, they're in the process of rolling out the trial program. I think you should have received correspondence recently in terms of welcoming manufacturers that actually joined the program. So this is a customs-led initiative, and they're actively working to go into the second phase now, where they add more manufacturers to the process. So I hope that you did receive the call, and you would have filled out all of the information and sent it back to the Customs Department, and hopefully you should hear from someone there soon. We know that trading regionally is a problem, and this is one of the aspects that this Trade and Innovation Summit seeks to address. Logistics and logistics supply management overall, I think is something that needs to be addressed. I can see my colleague Gavin from the University of the West Indies, and he has a whole logistic program. Gavin, I hope that this is something that you can work directly with the Barbados Manufacturers Association in regards to, because we really want to find the solutions to all of the challenges affecting the manufacturing sector, and that is why all of the key players are in the room this morning. So Gavin, I hope that this is something that we can work on. I don't know if you have anything to say at this point, but this is something that we are aware of, and we are actively looking to find solutions to.
Hi, thank you very much, Sade. Definitely the University of the West Indies is eager to interface with the manufacturing industry, not only to help find solutions, but also to share knowledge and to increase the awareness of the different techniques that are needed to be able to operate in this global environment. You know, you guys have been doing an amazing job in weathering this last 2 years that has been unprecedented in our commercial history in Barbados and globally. And what we at the university really want to do is to be able to partner with you guys to further equip you with the knowledge and the skills, and to partner with you to find solutions from a practitioner point of view, but also do the necessary research that is able to inform the decisions that you guys need to make on a day-to-day basis and at a strategic level. So definitely, Sade, this is something that we're willing to do and are eager to engage in.
Any other?
To add to that, Kashi, I know that Prime Minister Motley transportation and getting transportation issues addressed in the region. I know that is top priority for her. Actually, I have her special envoy here sitting in front of me, Minister right next to me, and I know that they will assure the manufacturing sector that this is something that is top priority. We are aware of Liat's exit, and we are working on a plan to ensure that, transportation issues in the region are addressed. And as I said, this is why we are having a Trade and Investment Summit. This is why we launch it right now, and not, closer to October, because we want you to help shape the content of the summit to make it meaningful. And therefore, we will ensure that all of the correct players are there to help us with the transportation issues going forward.
Well, let me chime in with a question here then. You're working towards it, but I know it sounds like a wish list. Is there anything that's already in the works rather than saying, okay, this is what we want to do? Is there any groundwork being done right now to ensure that you do have the capacity to really effectively have that trade with our neighbors, particularly within the region?
Okay, I will pause before I interject just to see if any of the government officials here have anything to add. Okay, Minister has nothing to add at this point, but I can say this is the actual reason why we're here this morning, to make sure that we have the plans, all of the information being gathered, and so that we can take back and work on an action plan, so that when October comes, we have all of the solutions on the table, the right players there, so that we can actively go forward.
Keith, can you microphone up here? Keith, we'll bring the microphone to you.
Thank you very much. Good morning. It's more than just words for the time being, because as you would know, we are doing a lot more business in the region, particularly in South America with Guyana and Suriname. And I see a number of business persons in the room who were doing business with Guyana and Suriname. And as somebody said years ago, when we had those two ships that used to go up and down the region in 3 days, delivering food from Guyana and Suriname in 3 days. And now, because we have become more sophisticated, things seem to have become more complex. But for the government side, it is more than just talk right now. And Prime Minister is an action woman. And I can assure you, between herself and President Ali and a number of other prime ministers in the region, that a plan is definitely in place in terms of the logistics, both by air and by sea. There are some private charters you can get coming out of Suriname, Fly Always. They are willing to bring in and take back from Barbados, because they don't want it to be just one-way traffic. If there's a lot of goods, especially fruits and vegetables and meat and so on, Fly Always would bring it in from Suriname into Barbados. And similarly, when Andy wants to export the flour and the cola tonic, they can take it back so that the air transportation costs would not be expensive. So it is more than a wish list right now. Action is happening. Up to a couple of days ago, I was speaking with one of the pilots of Inter-Caribbean Airlines, and he said, Alfie, for those persons who want to move the goods between the two countries, they are also willing to take cargo. And I can tell you from other discussions that are happening at the governmental level at various stages, it is an integrated process that will happen. And let me put in a plug here now for all the businesses here who want to go to Suriname. I'm taking a governmental delegation there at the ending of the month, the beginning of July, because the foreign minister has invited the Barbados private sector there, not only to be a part of the heads of government conference that will be going on, but to do business-to-business transactions and find new businesses in Suriname for Barbadian businesses. And they're also planning a Suriname summit later this year in Barbados in conjunction too with the Netherlands. So watch this space to hear more information on that. So we have to get the transportation logistics fully in place, and it is being worked on as we speak. The Ministry of Agriculture, PMO, everybody, the Ministry of International Transport. So it is happening. What we will do is make sure that everybody in this room is on the same page that there's not duplication of effort. So your logistics is our logistics. It is everybody else's logistics, not you trying a thing, we trying a thing, and somebody else trying a thing. It's an integrated effort. Thank you.
Any other questions or contributions?
Hi, Andy Armstrong. This is for the Minister. So, Minister, I noticed you made a comment, I think, about 5 laboratories coming. I'd like to hear a bit more about that. I mean, it's good because we often find it difficult to get someone to test our products, and very difficult if you want to create something new. There's really not any facilities to do that here.
Yeah, thank you for the question, Mr. Armstrong. It's a part of our International Food Science Center. So in addition to all of the other amenities that will be there, we will have those science labs for testing. You're absolutely correct. It has been a deficiency in Barbados for many years, where persons who have products, whether in the concept stage or established products, we're not able to get them tested for whatever reason, whether to meet international standards or just for market research purposes or product development purposes. So we have seen the need, and we're now putting that system in place. I believe that the International Food Science Center should be launched before the end of this year. It's just really a build out of a space that we already have. You will notice that the government has, and the BADC really has been the landlord of government for many years. Unfortunately, that has served its time, but we now need to innovate even as an institution and put other things that will be more beneficial to the country in those spaces that were formerly just for rent. So we are converting one of our industrial estates into that International Food Science Center. So during the course of the year, you will hear more about it. You will hear more about the standards. You will hear more about the other amenities and the other features that will be in that International Food Science Center. But for sure, those science labs, 5 of them, will open up tremendous opportunities to those who are in the agro-processing space, in the food space, in the food science space, etc. So we're trying to solve that problem.
Who's next?
Hello?
Okay, we're just asking you to stand so that
Hi.
you can see you on camera.
Great. So I'm going to wear another hat that I'm wearing as well. Besides my capacity that I just spoke in, I'm also the representative of the Guyana Office of Investment here in Barbados. And as such, I represent a gamut of agriculture producers, manufacturers, service providers that have the willingness and the ability to partner and create valuable supply chains that will be able to be leveraged. Coming out of the Food Science Center, one of the things that I was just speaking with a number of the participants here is the opportunities for developing linkages and developing value chains that will allow the region, and in particular Barbados, to be able to leverage capacities that are not necessarily physically here to access larger markets. There's a wealth of quality products that are produced here. In Barbados, there's a wealth of knowledge. There's also a wealth of resources and capacity available in some of our trade partners. And I believe that the private sector, which you guys represent, should be the driving force. The government, through the minister and the prime minister, creates an environment for you guys to be able to thrive. And it is through organizations like BMA and other sister organizations in other countries that these commercial linkages are made, and that viable, commercially viable businesses are allowed to thrive. Coming out of facilities and frameworks such as the International Food Science Center that give you guys the ability to produce world-class, not that you are not already doing that, but produce it at an increased scale to allow you to benefit from this global economy that we're operating within. I believe that that is a huge opportunity. So the Guyana Office of Investment and the private sector in Guyana, and by extension through the Special Envoy, Ms. Wiggins, and Suriname, stand willing and ready to partner and create value for our global markets. So I just wanted to add that. So thank you.
Thank you. Now, we have the summit in October, but we do have events leading up to that summit. And we're talking a lot about trade, and we do have a lot of talent here. Is the BMA going to be engaging with that talent in the lead up to the summit in finding ways, the best ways that they can actually market it? Because you're bringing in and you're opening us up to other investors and other markets. But having the talent and having the product is one thing. How are you selling it is another? Are you assisting or reaching out to others with that?
Yes, it is on our model to work closely with the talent available in Barbados. We are going to do that. In addition, because of the global reach of the summit, we will also be working with a lot of the international players. So if there's ever a time where we have any deficits, then our international players will step in to help in terms of whether it is through providing equipment. We have our partner from the EU here. We have our partners from the UK delegation here, right here today. So it is a kind of like a model where we are using and reaching out to our local talent, but at the same time, we are looking to build capacities in various areas by working closely with our international partners.
All right. I don't want to hog the show. Anyone else? I could do this all day, trust me. Over there. Yes, please.
Thank you. I think this might go back more to the wish list than something's actually happening, but we've talked about transportation more with our products. I just want to go on record to say what we don't have since COVID is that opportunity to go and visit our importers for the day visits to the islands. The way the flights are running right now, it's quite different than it was pre-COVID and LIAT. And I know some would laugh at me to say I miss LIAT, but it does certainly make a difference to your sales if you can go and have your day visits to the different islands and talk to them about product development and that. And right now, the way the flights are going, you would really have to spend at least a night, maybe 2 nights. So that has affected the way we do business. So the airlift within the Caribbean is missed. I don't know if anything going to happen soon, and we'll just have to get used to it, but it does affect us. I just wanted that to go on record. Thank you.
Never really thought you'd hear you say that. We miss Liat. Normally it's that Liat miss us, but that happens. Anyone else wants to engage? I see a hand in the, where you might run around with? To the back there with the colorful hair and the pink top. I assume it's pink. Don't come at me if it's not. My color knowledge is limited.
About the food industry and stuff, but I have heard nothing about the beauty industry. And internationally, that's $1 billion industry.
Of course.
So I just wanted to know if that would be included in the manufacturing, because we have plenty of local talent here, but we don't have access to the ingredients and the stuff we need in order to get world-class products. We do have the wonderful Rihanna coming from the island of Barbados, and we would like to sit on that pedestal with her as well, but having developed it from the island of Barbados. So, any...
Perfect question. I'm happy that you raised the beauty industry because it is built into the TIS. We've built it in a very creative way. You spoke about getting access to inputs, and that is something that you will have the opportunity to dialogue with suppliers at the exhibition component in October. In addition to that, we have a fashion show embedded into the program, and I know Cassie talk about, working with our local talent. And there you will see a lot of persons in terms of, persons in the design sector. There will be there also in terms of showcasing their work, right? We recently spoke with Kenya in this regard to our High Commissioner in Kenya. We are looking to see how we could build in a sustainable fashion component. We recognize that they have a vibrant agricultural sector in terms of flower production, and getting that fabric, getting exotic fabrics out of some of those flower petals. This is something that we are actively looking to see how we can pursue. So definitely, trust me, there wouldn't be a tip for involving some kind of beauty component in there. So I'm really excited about this segment, and therefore I just want to let you know that rest assured you will get access to persons who could supply inputs to your business.
Yes, when I spoke about beauty, I also mean in terms of beauty holistically, skincare, hair. I heard you speak about fashion, but fashion is one industry. I'm speaking about beauty itself, because as you know, us as Caribbean people, we love to be beautiful. We love our hair, our nails. We love to take care of ourselves, and we do it well.
I'm with you. The whole gamut. So we are looking at the whole gamut. So beauty products, fashion, everything. We have you covered.
Hi, good morning. I have a question for you. I listened and I heard the testing sites for food. As a person who is in the manufacturing industry as it relates to beauty skincare, the major testing we have here is done by the Government Analytical Service, and that does the basic 5 test. As a person who is already exporting, one of the challenges we have is to meet FDA standards. That process is very expensive, very. Even to start, when you have to consider things like your labeling, how do you present your product, not making medical claims, those kind of things. I am asking, will there be any facilities provided for persons in the manufacturing industry as it relates to testing? Would we have one of those testing sites for ourselves? If not, are there anything put in place to assist with us getting to the standard that is necessary to make a dent in the international market? Thank you.
Right, so this really come under the fashion portfolio, and this is something that we're looking at. Minister spoke about the 5 labs being pursued, and we are definitely looking at that within that framework. So we're really looking to find solutions to your problems, right? And we will be in contact with you as we get closer to October in terms of getting the specifics from you, in terms of the challenges you want addressed, and then ensuring that we have the solutions on the table. So it is definitely under the fashion component, beauty component.
Who's next? Or do I jump in here? All right, you twisted my arm. All right, here we go. As you're speaking to, of course, we have people that have their businesses set up and such. Are you looking to engage those entrepreneurs or those new businesses as well to be a part of this summit, or are you just looking at established businesses so far?
As I would have indicated, it has a strong developmental approach. So persons who want to enter the manufacturing sector, we are going to have the incubator sessions for them. It will be focused on linking them and matching them with industry experts that can help them develop businesses. So definitely, yes. We would have a lot more information coming to you. I know we have the minister still here with us, and he has a very busy schedule. But my event coordinator is right to the back sitting down, and we are actually having a whole page on our site go up with all of the specific information that would be needed.
All right, well, before the minister goes in, just let me engage him on one question. As we have the summit now taking over from BMA, and just to be clear, BMA is done, this will be the yearly summit now, yeah? Is it? Just
Yes.
before you go on for the question. Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
because we want to focus on the development of the manufacturing sector. BMAS in its, past construct was focused on, showcasing locally manufactured product. So we want to showcase locally manufactured product, but we want to ensure that the industry continues to thrive by, creating partnerships with our global partners and bringing the development component through industry experts globally to the actual function. So it is more development for focused tests.
Okay. Well, Minister, what is needed? Because you mentioned several goals that you have. You've only been in 5 months, and I'm sure you want to see this plan through for the next 5, 10 years. I know you're thinking just one term. But what is needed on both sides, both from the ministerial level and from the manufacturing side? What is needed to really see this all come to fruition?
Good question, Akashi. It's really going to take an understanding that we're in this together. I think government, by some of the same initiatives that I outlined, has begun to create the facilitating framework that is needed. And that's really the role of government. Government's role is to create an environment where the private sector, manufacturers, tradesmen, the average citizen can interact, engage, do business, prosper, and obviously make money for the country. We have to get out of the way. So our role is to facilitate, create the legislative frameworks, the policy frameworks, the initiatives and the strategies that would allow, based on what we understand from the needs of our people, that will create the environment that they can best operate in. And then it's for the private sector and for the industry players to do their best to innovate, to be competitive, to go out there and to see what are the best practices, to make those best practices work within their own context, bring them into the Barbadian and bring the Bajan flair to them, but really and truly just to be as creative as possible as we go there and conquer the world. I think at this point in time, we're still in that stage of mutual collaboration and conversation. So we're having these exchanges. I think the summit gives another opportunity for us to have more of these types of dialogues. What is it that the manufacturers need? What can government do to facilitate that? And then we go back and forth and see how we can make a healthy marriage and a healthy mix. And then you guys take the lead and go there and conquer. So it's just really to work together, ultimately, but it's really for the private sector to find those creative solutions to the problems that they face as individual companies, but also that we face as a country and that the world is facing, and solve those problems and make a lot of money.
I like the last part. I think everyone wants that last part.
Yeah.
Make a lot of money. It costs some big figures, so I hope so. Well, the minister has to go, as was indicated. Does anyone else have any questions for anyone here on the panel? I want to invite the president then, because you have been the silent one at the table since we came back from break. I'm pretty sure you probably enjoyed a lot of the goodies there, but any closing remarks from you then?
I just want to thank everybody's participation today, and the Minister and all the associations and other government bodies and so on for helping us start this program. And we really do look forward for an exciting 6 months or so until we get to October. And our goal really is to help manufacturers, particularly smaller manufacturers, develop their products and their processes and make sure that they can attract new customers. So and for that, we'll need all of your help, and we really do appreciate it starting today. Thank you.
All right. Oh, I thought you wanted to come and take over. No, no. Well, with that being said, I really want to thank the Minister of Industry, Innovation, Science and Technology, Mr. Davison Ishmael, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Industry, Innovation, Science and Technology, Mr. Wayne Marshall, the High Commissioner of Barbados to Kenya, Mr. Alexander McDonald, Prime Minister Special Envoy to Suriname and Guyana, Ms. Althea Wiggins, Commercial and Cultural Attaché to Ghana and West Africa, Mr. Phil Phillips, members of the Regional and International Diplomatic Corps, President of the Barbados Manufacturers Association, Mr. John Marshall, Executive Director of the BMA, Ms. Charlotte Boyce, members of the Board of Management of the Barbados Manufacturers Association. All of you are here physically, and those that joined us virtually, We thank you for coming here to the launch of the Trade and Investment Summit. Innovation. You see, I think investment, because investment in our innovation. That's right. Use that. All right. Thank you for coming. My name is Kashi. I really hope that we will be seeing and hearing each other a lot in the coming months. Have a good day.
Thank you.